Sup everyone, I'm your female otaku and I'm here to review episode 5 of SukaSuka. And with this episode we get a little bit of what happened over at the battle on that one island where Cathali and her friends had to, fight in. Turns out the reason why they needed to retreat was because a new kind of beast appeared and they didn't know how to fight it. There was no way they could fight it, but Cathali decided to give it a try and she stopped midway because she started seeing and hearing things and her eyes started to turn red, and what she started to see was also red, and you heard this like really creepy child's voice, and it came back again later on in the episode. That child's voice is creepy. But what does all this mean? Does this have to do with the new beast, or is this just something that has been happening to Cathali for a very long time and we're only just now seeing it? I have no idea. So we get to learn a little more about Fear. I think that's what her name is. Or is it Peer? It's either Peer or Fear. I'll go with Fear for right now. That sounds cooler. So we learn a little more about Fear, the dog-like lady from last week's episode. Her father's about to sign some sort of treaty type thing, or is about to present a new law for all races to coexist, no more discrimination, and what they like to call themselves the Annihilation Knights. These guys were so dumb, but yeah, the Annihilation Knights didn't like this and they wanted to assassinate her father. So Fear went over to Limeskin, which by the way, I don't talk about Limeskin, but Limeskin's a pretty cool dude. He seems to understand and try to work well with the other characters as best as he can. Unfortunately, he turned down Fear rather quickly, but other than that, he works well with Willem and Cathali. Limeskin is pretty cool. I'm glad he's a reoccurring character. After being turned down by Limeskin, then Fear goes and asks Willem, but Willem flat out says no, and Willem acted very odd this episode. He had a lot more personality than usual. Maybe he's just overcome with joy that he's surrounded by the ladies that he thought would die, because for an instant he did think that they were dead. So perhaps he's just as happy as he can be, but he was just a completely different person. He joked a lot and tricked people in this episode, which was rather shocking. Honestly, I didn't think there was a need for Willem to trick the others into his plan for, arresting the Annihilation Knights. I think the plan would have worked just as well if he told the girls what was going on, but he didn't. So what the heck is up with Willem? Has he always been like this? He hasn't. Like, was this his past self? I have no idea. This was just strange to see a new side to Willem. Which reminds me, there was one thing, very important thing, that I completely forgot to discuss in last week's episode, but I'll bring it up today because it does relate to what I'm about to say. So last week, Willem, he did this like super speed like jump thing, really super speed what it was. I don't think he jumped, but it seems like Willem still has his super speed even though he's supposed to be very, very weak. So perhaps this could damage him in the future. I mean, we have seen this damage him before when he used the Doug weapon, but that was when he was using a weapon. This time he wasn't using one. And again, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in this episode he shot out coins to make it look like that it was just his bullet fingers, when really he was just shooting out coins. And he did that in such a super speed that no one else knew what the heck was going on. Like, how the heck is he taking these people down with just a bullet finger? Like, what is this? So with all the super speed and other tricks that Willem can do you know what this means? Willem can do some serious parkour. Okay, no, I'm kidding, obviously. The bad joke. But what I'm getting at is that the more Willem does this, even though he's not using a Doug weapon, this could lead to two things. One, he'll get weaker and weaker by the day, or two, people see the potential in him to use the Doug weapon once again and bring him onto the battlefield along with Cathali. I honestly don't believe that Willem will stay off the battlefield for long, even though he keeps rejecting it. The more he rejects it, the more it seems to me that he's going to be put on the battlefield. I mean, again, he's weak. We know that. But he still has some strength in there. So, depending on the situation, he probably has to be drafted into it. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and theories on this episode. What do you think is going on with Cathali? Your thoughts on Willem and his current state and his personality too. What was up with that? And catch him later as I review Akashic Records. I'm your female otaku. Sayonara.